Yeah, the question here from Eugene, this was actually sent to us last week. I thought it was a good question, but we didn't get around to it. He asked, do you reckon London Irish is being reassembled with the help of the IRFU as a fifth province for good players that are on the fringes of the four provinces and are Irish qualified elsewhere? And if so, do you think those players could be more easily selected for Ireland than, say, their equivalents at other clubs abroad?
Yeah, I don't think the RFU have any involvement at all. There is obviously the clues in the name. There is a really strong Irish contingent behind the club, though. The ownership and Mick Crossan are all Irish, and I think this signing is very much an indication that they want to bring back that identity strongly. You're getting a number of things from their point of view. A world-class player in the back row if he's fit, that mentor and leader figure for what is a pretty young squad, and then I guess commercially, and with that support base, you're getting a really strong addition to the club. Like if I was living in London and I was Irish, or my parents were Irish, I'd be going to watch London Irish because Sean O'Brien is a player I've grown up watching. He's an iconic figure in Irish rugby, and he's going to bring in, I would say, thousands of people to the club. On top of that, he's going to bring in probably new sponsorship and other companies who have kind of Irish connections as well. You know, you can imagine him going up to the boxes after the matches, shaking hands, having a few pints with the lads. He'll be really important in that regard. And if he's injured, he'll be a draw in that regard as well. So it makes sense on that front. And it has been, for me, I think, for the last 5-6 years, I've always wondered why aren't London Irish tapping into that identity a bit more. You've had guys like Brendan Mackin there this season, Conor Gilson and a number of other guys over the years just kind of in and out of the club, but they haven't fully committed to that identity, I guess. Paddy Jackson seems to be on his way there next season as well. They haven't announced that, as well as a whole crop of world-class players. Nick Phipps and Curtis Rona have been confirmed. Waisaki Naholo is expected to go there. Adam Coleman, even the Wallabies lock, is being strongly linked as well. And they're moving into a new stadium in Brentford. It's currently being built. That's in the summer of 2020. A lovely stadium, very close to Heathrow as well. So really good access, potentially, if Irish fans were going to go over and follow the club. So I think it's really smart from London Irish to rebuild that strong Irish connection. Is it going to make players more selectable? We don't really know that. Sean O'Brien is saying he's hopeful of playing on for Ireland. He said he hasn't spoken to Andy Farrell specifically about it. So it remains to be seen, because it's not written down anywhere. There's no RFU law book that says if you leave, you're out of the picture. Joe Schmidt has obviously pushed that pretty strongly. And I would imagine it will continue because it kind of negates a couple of threats and keeps players at home. But I think it's good just for London Irish's point of view to build that connection again.
It would be a great idea, I think. Like the Exiles idea has been in existence for a long time, but to maybe to communicate it, or to get pitch a story back to the IRFU and say, why not look at us as the legitimate option outside of the four provinces, and say, yeah, well, okay, we're going to buy into this a little bit. It does add to that fifth province idea. There's a huge expat community there who would absolutely adore that idea, and the London Irish Amateur Club has a unique kind of cultural identity and setting certainly within southwest London. And I think that move to Brentford is a really, really brilliant move commercially for them. Reading just didn't work. It was too far removed from their culture and history. But if they got a PR team on that and communications involved and tried to market it and tap it up with the IRFU, and both dovetailed on that, you could absolutely legitimately say we've got a fifth exile province. It's not new. It's like
they did explore before, didn't they?
It's been there before, and now you've Irish ownership, Irish coaches, internationals coming through. It would be worth it.
Spot on.